We're live. Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm Amanda Call, and this is my channel, and this is my comic page. This is a page for my webcomic, Age of Night, that we started last week on the art stream. I started with just some panel borders and some perspective grids, and last week we got all of the roughs kind of sketched in here, and then we started to finalize some of that. This panel is pretty much done. This panel I started to finalize but didn't get much farther than that, and that was it for last time. So now we're going to pick it up. We're going to see how far we can get on penciling these before our stream is up today. So I have my pencil, I have my page, I have thumbnails off to the side here. I have a script I don't want to show you too much of. There's a script off on the side that I am working from. I need to sharpen my pencil, so hopefully I have a pencil sharpener somewhere nearby. Ta-da! And now we shall begin. So how is everybody doing this week? Try to figure out where I left off on this drawing last week. What was I doing? Let's see, this past week, what have I been up to? The family emergency stuff kind of calmed down a little bit, thankfully. And I was able to go to my friend Margaret's family's camp for a little artist retreat weekend, which was very nice. Oh, hey, it's Ed Smith. Ed Smith says, "Not bad. It's been hot and stormy down here. Are you guys getting tornado warnings?" I am thankfully far enough north that I am outside of the tornado warning range that has been affecting southern New England, which is very weird. Well, like central and southern New England, which is just a weird thing that we're dealing with. But I'm a little bit too far north for that. There's a small bug crawling around on my comic page. Sir, what are you doing? Why are you here? Go somewhere else. Okay. Yes, thankfully I am outside the range of tornado warnings. Which was just a weird thing. But we did all kind of skedaddle from the artist retreat in New Hampshire this past weekend. We all kind of left a little bit earlier than we had planned on Sunday because all of that weird weather was coming in, and we were like, okay, maybe everybody needs to just get home. Hey, Spud, thanks for joining me. How are you doing? No, I am too far north to get tornadoes, thankfully. Drove through some nasty rain coming back from New Hampshire, but did not encounter anything worse than that, thankfully. All right. We've got fell in the. Oh, we live in Oklahoma, so we got some. Oh yeah. Tornadoes just are just it's so scary. It's so scary. I've never had to deal with that, thankfully, and it seems incredibly terrifying. Had one touchdown 3 blocks away and then bounce up and down until it was about a block from the house. Didn't know about it until the next morning, so it wasn't really scary. Ah! That is terrifying. I think the closest I ever got to any kind of tornado-ness was when I lived in Georgia. We had one really bad, like, thunderstorm one really bad storm system that came in on St. Patrick's Day, which that was I don't know how that wasn't, like, a worse disaster because a lot of the town actually lost power, including River Street, which was, like, chock full of drunks celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I had been working all day at the convenience store, and so I was not at the St. Patrick's Day celebration. I had gone home, and then when the power went out, I was like, "Well, this is crappy." And so we were like, "Hey, well, let's drive out to Tybee, the, beach nearby, and, like, watch some of, like, the lightning out across the water. That would be really cool." And so we drive out to Tybee and we didn't have power, so, yeah, and I was sure as hell was not going downtown, especially once there were a bunch of, drunks stranded downtown with no lights on River Street, which, again, I have no idea how that didn't turn into a bigger disaster, but somehow it did not. Um, but yeah, so we, like, drove out to Tybee, saw a lot of really cool lightning going out across, like, the salt marshes and everything as we're driving out to the island, and then we're out on the island, and it's like, we didn't really see any more thunder and lightning at that point. It was just, like, really, really windy, and at a certain point, as we're kinda, like, wandering around trying to get down to the beach, something about the way the wind shifted, I was just like, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this, and we need to leave. We need to leave right now." And so I went to it was me and my boyfriend at the time. I was like, we need to go. I think this is not a safe place to be. I think we need to get out of here." And, we weren't really seeing any more lightning or anything, so he was like, "Yeah, all right, fine." And so we headed back, and we found out later that, yeah, much like you, Spud, that there had actually been a tornado touching down on the island at that time, and had no idea. We had no idea. But it must have obviously not been too close because we didn't experience it or see anything or anything like that, but I was just I was just like, "No, something about this is not okay." So what else is going on? I haven't done a whole lot else this past week. Trying to get ready for the next round of events. That'll be starting up in July. Okay, let's see what is going on with the background here. What do we have happening? Oh, I need to hold on. I need to find the boys out of school for the summer. They sure are. Everybody's out of school. All the boys. All the boys are out of school. We have some fun plans coming up, and certainly a fair amount of like not really doing anything and all of that kind of good stuff. Lots of swimming and playing outside and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so top tier done. Next tier. Oh, why is this spear bending? This seems like a bad idea. I don't think they're supposed to do that. Get my reference image up so I can see it. All right, so I do have. I'm gonna get a little bit more underdrawing done on this guy right here, and then I'm gonna show you guys something else that is happening this week that we should all be all cool and excited about. I'm excited about it. Hopefully, other people are excited about it too. I don't know what's going on with this guy. All right. I'm going to pause for a minute there. We've got some of the underdrawing there, and I'm going to talk about what else is going on right now. Do. I got it digging boxes next to me here. Dun, 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 dun. This is what's going on. This is the complete. I am the first. The whole thing. At this point, pretty much all of our backers should have theirs. And so now the actual official release is coming this Friday in just a few more days, June 28th. It will be available for folks all over the everywhere. Yeah, so you can see this is the whole thing. It's the whole story. It's all in here, including a fun little there's a nice little bonus comic in the back. We've got all of Jesse and Charles's alternate covers in the back there too. Fun little statements, little letters from me and Jeremy. Yeah, we've got some little blurbs on the back of people saying nice things about our book. And look, it's even got like an ISBN. It's like a real book. It's like a real book. So yeah, this is up for pre-order right now on our website. So that's on bravenewcomics.com. You can get this. And it is going to be live for you to get like the whole PDF right away on Friday. And if you order it, you're also gonna, be able to get the paperback or the hardcover. I bought myself a bunch of the paperbacks to sell at events, just because they're a little bit more affordable, but the hardcovers are super duper nice. I have no, I don't have it right here. I have a proof of the hardcover that had a couple of mistakes in it because it was a proof and we hadn't worked out all of the little details yet, but the quality is really nice. The hardcover is definitely worthwhile too if you like to have a nice sturdy hardcover, but I gotta say the quality on the paperback is pretty spectacular as well, and it's a little more affordable. So I am super excited. This is gonna be I'm gonna start delivering these to my local shops this weekend, and I am so stoked for it. So that is the cool thing that is happening. Yay. I still can't really believe that project is done. I'm like, for once in a while, I'm like, shouldn't I be drawing I am the first pages? Don't I have some I am the first to like color or something? No, it's done. It's done. I finished it. That just doesn't seem real that it's finished. My computer just did a weird boo-doo-doo-doo at me. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. So last week, it's like the last day of my work week at the day job, and our receipt printer started acting up. And I went through all of the like basic troubleshooting, trying to figure out like what is this thing's problem? Why you do? Why are you refusing to cooperate? Because it's like one of those little like therm. Now it's time for. Now I'm the second the sequel. I lost my train of thought. But yes, there will probably be more coming, uh, not right away, but at some point in the world of I am the first. I've got some other stuff that's ahead of it in the queue right now. But there will probably be more to this coming to this story at some point. But anyway, I was telling the story about a receipt printer. Where was I with that? Oh yeah. So yeah, it's like one of those thermal printers that just like prints off a generic old receipt so that we have like a normal looking receipt from our computer when people like pay for stuff of like, oh, you registered your car, here's a regular looking receipt, or you got a hunting license or whatever, here's your regular old receipt, instead of having like a big old piece of computer paper. And like, cool, that's great and all. But for whatever reason, it stopped functioning. And instead of like printing anything, when it would be, I would be like, okay, print the receipt now. And then it would just like feed out a couple inches of blank paper. And I was like, well, that's odd. And I went through all of the obvious kind of troubleshooting stuff, turning it on and off again and restarting the computer and checking to make sure that the computer recognized that that printer existed and all that fun stuff. Okay. Like, none of that seemed to do anything, and I still couldn't get it to work, and I was like, "Maybe I'll just leave it alone for the weekend, and when I come back on Tuesday, it will be working again." And no, of course not. No such luck. And so I call the guy who's, like, our he's the guy who, like, wrote our and maintains the, like, program we use for everything, and so he provides technical assistance, like, not just regular run-of-the-mill IT stuff, but stuff specifically about his program, we can call him. And so I call him, and I'm like, "Hey, this is what's happening. I don't know why it's doing this. Can you fix it?" And then he's like, "Oh, yeah. Do you know what caused that?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "The latest Windows update." I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, the latest Windows update seems to have, like, killed the printer because 'cause you're not the only town that's having this issue." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "So, you're just gonna have to turn off the latest Windows update, or I can do it, when I get back to the office or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he's just like, "I bet that surprises you that a Windows update would destroy your printer." And I'm like, "No, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest." Like, that sounds precisely like something a Windows update would do. Like, "Oh no, I have been using Windows computers for a while. I am not in any way surprised that a Windows update would cause a printer to just become a brick." So that was fun. All right. Let's get this arm solidified a little better. Okay, I need a straight edge because the spear has gotten very like wobbly and I don't want to go to ink it and then be like, what is happening? This is not at all correct. So we're gonna just lighten up some of these little scribbles here. We're gonna use our straight edge to make sure that the spear is actually staying nice and straight and not getting all wonky. It's the thing too when you like cross over other forms at different points is it's very easy to like, oh, see, I actually did have it pretty straight, but you end up with these weird optical illusions because of like the curves and bends of the other forms that are overlapping it. And so then you're like, oh no, it's not actually straight. But it was. It was straight the whole time. Wild. I just didn't look it because of weird optical illusion stuff. Kind of wild. My hand knew how to keep it straight, even though my eyeballs were like, no, what are you doing? Okay, I need to sharpen my pencil again. It's getting all dull. All right, so what else is going on coming up? That's the oh goodness. Sorry, sleepy. The book coming out is the big thing. I have a couple of events coming up later this summer. So in July, it's July 6th, I have the Bangor Sidewalk Art Festival. That's like the only thing I currently have scheduled for July. There's like a slim possibility I might end up getting a spot at Plastic City Comic Con, but also kind of depending on how other stuff turns out, I may just not plan on that because I am waitlisted, so I don't really want to necessarily hold that weekend open if I don't know that I'm going to be able to get into that one. And that's currently the Sidewalk Art Festival is the only thing I have scheduled for July, which seems kind of wild, but that's fine because there's plenty of other stuff I got to do. Got family stuff, got work stuff. It's gonna be a busy enough time. But then in August, I'm going to be at Gen Con, which that's not me, uh, selling my artwork. I'm going to be there working for Free League as I do at a lot of these big conventions. But I will also be around if people want to meet up, hang out, do meetings or whatever in the evenings. Once the exhibitor hall is closed, I will be free. I may have other time during the show. I don't have my exact schedule yet, but I tend to work most of the show that the exhibitor floor is open and then do a lot of my running around and socializing in off hours. So, if you happen to be going to Gen Con and want to get together and say hi, that would be cool. And then later in August, I have the Portland Art in the Park, which should be really fun. And I also have another hey, it's a Jason. Aw, thanks. Jason, are you gonna be at Gen Con or are you not making it down this year? I know that's kind of a huge pain for you to make it down from the frozen north. But yeah, I'll have another Maine Micro Artisans Night Market in August as well. And I was going to be at the Labor Day Maine's Odd and Unusual show, but I will not be able to make that one because my best friend just had to go and decide to get married that weekend, which is fine. I'm just giving them a hard time. So I won't be able to make it to that one. But I will, a little while after that, I will be at Granite Con in Manchester, New Hampshire. Doug said I was too expensive. Well, there is also that. Like, getting you down from Canada is also kind of expensive. Well, you will be missed. All right, I've got another figure in the background there. I need to get this triangle out of my way. Luke and Tyler wanted me to go with them, but they were too late getting me into the mix. Oh, that would have been fun if you went with Luke and Tyler. Darn. Okay, well, then you'll have to figure something out for PAX Unplugged because I'll be bummed if I don't get any time to hang out with Jason this year. What is this other character? Who is back here? Sorry, looking for my reference. Computer. Hello, computer. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that'd be great if you could get to PAX U. That'd be fun. If not with the Free League crew, then with the Limithron crew. That would also be good. The Pirate Borg guys. Okay, I got this other character back here that needs to be also penciled in. All right. There's that other character kind of sketched in. We're going to tighten that up a little bit. Yeah, she's got kind of like a frizzy ponytail thing going on back here. Okay, there's this character back here. Do 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 do. Hey, Haru YT. Thank you so much for joining me. I guess I'll just call you Haru. I'm guessing the YT is for YouTube. This needs to scoot over a little bit. I'm not super well in frame. Okay. These kind of poses where characters are like folded up on themselves, it's always like an interesting challenge to keep that looking believable, keep everything like having its full dimensionality and not having limbs just kind of like disappear and melt into each other. I think that's probably successful. Are any of the characters modeled on people you know, or do you hide jokes inside your stories? Definitely yes and yes. Yes and yes. I mean, there's not like a lot of jokes necessarily. Every once in a while, I'll sneak in a little like reference or something. Pretty much most of the characters, especially these little like side characters, I'll like to put in little cameos of people. So like these other soldier characters are their faces are based on people that I know. Their personalities are just whatever the story requires of them. So there's that. Uh but yeah, I'm definitely basing their appearance on people that I know because that is fun. Of the like core cast, um Fell is visually based on one of my former roommates from college, like a roommate that I had at the time that I first started developing Age of Night. Personality, nothing like him, of course. And the rest of the like four main characters were not actually visually based on anyone. I just wanted to have like a cast that like looked different enough from each other and filled their kind of like character character information kind of like visually and to go along with what who they were as people. So he's the only one who was kind of based on anyone. However, the three main like antagonist characters that have been around since the very beginning were based on three of my friends from college. Uh again, not entirely their personality, although at least somewhat their personality was also based on it because they had a very, like, fun dynamic between the 3 of them, and visually 100% based on them. Okay, we are making camp here, so we've got a couple little tents going on back here. Amongst the rocks and the trees. So a lot of that, I imagine, is gonna get obscured by these word balloons, so I'm not gonna go too crazy about trying to make it all detailed here. All right, yay, that panel's done. Okay, moving on to the next one. It's a close-up of Thel, so I don't imagine this one will take me super long to do. But yeah, periodically I'll put out a call on like my Facebook and ask my friends and acquaintances like, "Hey, who wants to have a cameo in my comic?" So that at least I'm not stealing the faces of people who are not in any way interested in having their likenesses stolen. It's people who do think it would be cool. And let's see, we are in the last 10-ish minutes of the stream. So as I am working on this panel, I will start doing the YouTube things and remind you that I'm Amanda Call. This is my comic here on my YouTube channel. I do these streams just about every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If for some reason I am not going to be able to make it, I usually make a post about it here on the YouTube channel. So if you want to follow me, is a good way to find out when I'm going live or when I might have to miss a stream or reschedule it or what have you. The comic I am working on here is my webcomic, Age of Night. You can read Age of Night online for free at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. And that updates just about every Wednesday. And while you can read the whole thing for free, there are also ways that you can help support me. You can become a patron over on Patreon. Patrons get all of their comics a week early. So the page that is getting uploaded this Wednesday, my patrons saw last Wednesday, and they will see next Wednesday's update this Wednesday. It's like they get to live in the future. You also get behind the scenes sneak peeks at stuff I'm working on, free comics for signing up, free comics periodically when I'm working on stuff, just all sorts of cool stuff. And it just helps to support me, and I really appreciate it. So that's another cool part of it. You can also buy copies of Age of Night. The first 3 volumes are available. Volume 4 will be available sometime this year. I'm trying to pull it together while also doing like a million billion other things. Now that I Am the First is finally going to be launching, that's going to help like free up a lot of my brain to finish putting the book together for volume 4 of Age of Night. But anyway, the first 3 volumes are available now on Amazon, on DriveThru RPG, DriveThru Comics, and DriveThru Fiction, and on Skirmisher Publishing's website, skirmisher.com. So you got your choice of formats and libraries and what have you. And yeah, you can also follow me on the various social medias. I am active on a lot of them to varying degrees as either Amanda Call Art or Age of Night. So yeah, that is what is going on here. I have now 4 panels completely penciled, 2 panels that are still just roughed in, but we're gonna finish penciling those next week. So yeah, we got this panel finished up these 2 panels this time. It's looking pretty good. Pretty pleased with how this is coming along. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me this week, and I will see you next time. Bye.